Hello everyone and welcome to another video of Mastering MFL. In this video I want to talk about team instructions. Lately some new users have joined the game and they ask me what kind of tactics should I play, what kind of team instructions should I give my players. So I thought let's make a quick video about it and share my thoughts. First I'll go over the instructions in general and then I will set them up for my ice club, Goedhuisje Hollanderse. So that is the plan. Before I start, I want to say that I'm definitely not a tactical expert. I also struggle with some teams. Sometimes you get it right, sometimes it doesn't seem to work and you start to panic and change things around. So I'm definitely not an expert. I just want to give you some pointers to think about to come up with your own tactic. And second of all, the engine also keeps changing. So maybe you have a tactic that works, but then the next season there's another engine and things are different and you might have to go back to the drawing board and test some other things. So I just want to explain what are all these instructions about. Also, some of you maybe don't know football so well, so also from a football point of view. And then the second thing is what kind of choices do I make and why, and maybe this will inspire you to make your own tactical choices, your own team instructions. So let's talk about these instructions here in general. So let's first start with the attacking width. So of course you can set your team to super narrow in attack or super wide in attack. Now, why might you choose one of the options? So maybe your formation is already very narrow and you want your midfielders to go a bit wide, to stay wide. This can create spaces here between your players, so the spaces between your players get bigger and you can use more, let's say, through passes. It's less ideal for short passes, more for long passes. Maybe you put it super narrow, so then you make the spaces super tiny, but if you have very skilled players, very good passing players, that might be good. So do you want to play with big spaces on the field in attack, or do you rather have small spaces in attack? That's how I look at it. So here it also says a wide attack stretches the opponent's defense, while a narrow approaches focus play through the middle channel. So yeah, if you put your players super wide, you have more spaces in the box, and maybe that's better for your striker that he needs. He spread out the defense. So it is a bit like consider those two things when you build a team and a squad. Then about directness. So controlled means that you do very short passing, you don't take so much risk in the passing, you really wait patiently for a gap to appear. Direct means that you want to quickly pass the ball forward, quickly attack. Not so precise, maybe a bit more risk, a bit more opportunistic. So do you want to go for that more like tiki-taka play or more kick and rush play? Or you put it in the middle, balanced. So I guess for teams who are dominant, high passing, controlled might be a great option to not risk losing the ball, keep the control. Direct might be a good option if you're not the best team and go for a more counter attack. Then flank preference, left flank, right flank. I think this is quite easy. Do you want to do more attacks on the left flank or the right flank? You might have your best players, maybe like a very good left back and a left mid. This is the situation for me in Magos. So yeah, then you want those players to more have the ball, do more crosses. So then you can pick this option, but I guess most players put it on balance. Although you can also, from match to match, think about where is the defense the weakest of the opposition. If he has a very weak right back and a right mid, you might want to go through your own left flank and attack his right back and right mid. So you can think about it from two ways. Is it going to make your attack stronger, or are you going to exploit the weaknesses of the opponent? Long shots, taking less long shots or more long shots. So do you want to wait more for gaps to appear, more controlled, what we said here, or be more opportunistic, take more risks and shoot more from a distance. And of course, you always have the option to just do balanced. Again, I think if you are the underdog, maybe you want to take a bit more risk, because less long shots, more passing, you only risk losing the ball, especially if you're the underdog. So maybe then you can go more for those long shots. Then the crossing, so less often, more often. Do you want more shorter passes into the box or more long balls into the box? Again, the more often is a bit more opportunistic. The cross less often is a bit more just controlled. So you also see it's all on this side. The more opportunistic side, let's call it, and the more controlled tiki-taka side. I would say if you play with free attack wingers, this might be good, that you have those wingers crossing it more instead of dribbling into the box or shorter. Or again, if you're the underdog, I think cross more often, a bit more opportunistic is better. Then the dribbling, so should players take some risk or no risk? Should they try some dribbles? Maybe they are very good at dribbling. Do you want to give them the chance, or do you think it's too risky to dribble? So can players dribble a lot or not? I think that is an obvious one. Then the defensive, the out of position ones, I think they're a little bit more interesting. So team depth, so you can move the slider. This is a bit more park the bus. Do you want to have a super low line of defense? Make sure there's a lot of people in the back. This can be good, of course, if you don't want to give so much space behind your defense. So if you don't want to allow those long balls to go over the defense, have like quick counter attacks. Maybe I think especially if you're the underdog, it might be better to go low. High, if you're a very dominant team, you can keep pressure on the other team by staying high, have a high line of defense. So again, the high is a bit more the tiki-taka Barcelona high pressing style, or just more Italian catenaccio, super low line and then counter. So you see this is built for two kind of styles, I would say. More very controlled tiki-taka attacking, more parking the bus, kick and rush, low line style. Then the compactness. Do you want to have a super tight block, but then allow space on the sides? Or do you want to spread out and then allow more space between the defenders in the middle? So it's also a tough choice. Some people say, especially if there's wingers here, try to spread out to already pick up the wingers on the sideline and not let them dribble in, or make it easy for them to cross. But then, of course, you leave space in the middle for the attackers to have a dribble or make a move. So I think I often put it a little bit more spread out to have the best of both worlds, to try to counter those wingers, but also keep it a little bit more compact in there. Then pressing, are you gonna press a lot? So when you lose the ball, are you gonna try to press and try to get it back very quickly? Less often, I would say a bit more regroup, stay in formation. More often you go a bit more out of formation. So again, the more often is a bit more risky, the less often less risky, but more often you can then have more opportunities to capture the ball again and do another attack. So less often, I would say, for a more underdog, more park the bus, that can be safer. Then aggressiveness, more aggressive, less aggressive. Of course, more aggressive, you can win more duels, but there's a high risk of a red card, having a guy being sent off. Less aggressive, well, you don't take any risks, and maybe sometimes it's too easy for a defender. I think most people keep it unbalanced. I'm definitely keeping it unbalanced usually. And clearances, clear the ball often, but then you have a high risk of losing the ball, or play out of defense. But then you have a high risk of losing the ball in a very dangerous position. Of course, if you are the stronger team and you play a bit more controlled, I would play more out of defense to keep the ball in possession, find those openings, clear the ball often. If you're the underdog, you don't want to take any risk. Just shoot it forward, direct ball, cross, and then hope for the best. Maybe you have a good counter. So those are a bit the options. One tip I would say is, if you're not sure and you don't have a lot of time for testing, just keep everything maybe balanced, or maybe change one thing, or just keep everything in the middle. Like, it's always kind of a safe bet, I would say. That's like 70-80% already good enough. But if you are passionate about MFL and you want to get the best result, try your own kind of elaborate tactic, really aim, like, build around the players that you have, do a lot of testing, and then see what works best. So that's a bit how I look at it. Now, for my ice club. So right now, they are first. I also stack them a lot. We have better players. Still, I'm not super happy. I still lost 2 games, drew 1, but I won most games, although 1-0. It's also not really going so well with this player, so they need a little bit of a better tactic. But because they're number 1 and because I stack them a little bit, you can see the squad for ice. This is a pretty good squad. I think I like to play more dominant with them. So let's set it up based on what I just said for a bit more dominant thing, and I'll go over the choices I make. So if we check the team instructions, so attacking with, I think we can do it a slightly bit more, that those right mid and the left mid playing more from the side, they spread out the defenders a bit more. There's more space for my striker, who's very good, plus the cam can join him to have 2 strikers in the box, a bit more space, and that is good for me with a bit more skill. So I like to make it a little bit more wide. I'm very tempted to be controlled, although there's still, I don't think I'm so dominating with passing that I would rather put on balanced. I think direct is a bit of a shame. I am usually the better team. The other teams might be more playing defensive against me, and I like to keep the ball because I am the better team. So I would say just keep it on balanced or a bit more controlled. I don't really have a stronger flank, so I don't really care about that. I don't like losing the ball with opportunistic long shots that never go in. So in general, I prefer to not take a lot of long shots. Also in real football, I'm really annoyed when some players just take a random long shot, a random gamble. It's such a waste of an opportunity. I don't want them to do that. Cross less often or more often. This is an interesting one. I do have wide midfielders. I have a very good striker who's top scorer. So I want to have a lot of balls going his way. That can also be shorter passing. But I think with those defenders spread out, we can cross a bit more often here for him. Dribble, depends on the situation. I keep it balanced. I think when players see an opportunity, they're allowed to, but not too much. Still keep formation, still keep the idea. So I think I put this on balanced for them. The team depth, I think, is okay. You don't want them to also to be too high. I'm not that much better, I feel, than the opposition. So maybe I keep this in the middle, just like no risk. Compactness, what I said, I like to do it a bit more spread out to pick up those attackers on the sideline. And then trigger press, I think balanced, not taking too much risk, that I do it too often, get out of formation, and then I'm disorganized. So the balanced, aggressiveness balanced, and clearances, I think I play more out of defense. I have some defenders that are pretty good, some also ball playing defenders, some high passing, so I can handle that with this team. So let's save it, and then I finished my team instructions. So let me know what you think of this. Again, I'm definitely not an expert. I'm not the agent with most trophies. I should do way more testing. I'm just trying to go over the buttons and what they are representing and offering you some food for thought, let's say. So let me know if it's useful for you. If you disagree with me, again, engine keeps changing. There will be a new engine for the next season. Plus, you can If you don't want to take too much risk, I would advise you to just put everything in balance in the middle, and that's usually good enough with an okay squad. If you have more time, try out by yourself, do a lot of testing. All right, enough talking. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think. Like, subscribe, and see you next time.